Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a favor and smash that subscribe button just below. It takes a second and it helps the channel grow. We can't thank y'all enough. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Also, check us out on Reddit and Discord, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got Winnipeg Jets Talk, NHL Talk, CFL Talk. But yeah, season's over. Grey Cups a couple weeks ago. We're kind of getting over it. A couple weeks ago. A week ago?
Yeah. Just over a week. Yeah.
I'm just hoping it was longer than that. Any which way, we're kind of getting over it. But we're going to start off with some Blue Bomber talk because it's kind of hot in Blue Bomber Nation. We just got a report a couple hours ago from Farhan Lalji that Milanovic is pretty much out. And the last two remaining candidates who have had their final interviews are Corey Mace and Buck Pierce. Any fresh thoughts on that?
You know what? Good luck, Corey Mace. Good luck. You got this. No, just good for Buck if he ends up getting a job. As much as it would be Saskatchewan, it would be tough to kind of cheer him on. I'd like to see him have some success there, but good for him if he's done it. He's put his dues into this league as a player, as a coach, starting off, as an assistant to Paul Lapalisse and all that stuff, learning the tricks of the trade. So, and then he's learning from Michael Shea, who's one of the best coaches in the CFL right now. So good luck to him. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, like Michael Shea said in his interview, I'm going to paraphrase. He just hopes the best for Buck Pierce and his family.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there are signs there. There's so many balls in the air in regards to the football ops of things. How optimistic are you that Kyle Walters is going to return?
I'm pretty optimistic with this. Listening to O'Shea talk and all that stuff, I don't think he'd be saying this kind of stuff if he wasn't kind of sure of Walters maybe coming back. And maybe this Buck Pierce deal is kind of holding things up because a lot of these guys are not under contract anyways, right? So if Buck gets the job over there, okay, so now we got to figure out another OC, what salary and all that stuff. If Buck comes back, like a lot of these guys probably deserve some kind of raise. So now you're thinking, okay, how much do I have to pay Buck and all these other guys and what's left over for Walters? So I think it gets done. I don't see why not. I mean, this guy's been here since 2013. He built this thing. He helped build this thing and turn it into the dominant juggernaut that it is right now, minus the last couple Grey Cups. Yeah. So I can see it getting finished at some point.
I'm about 75-25 feeling that he will come back. I'm never 100% because I took statistics in U of M and I learned that nothing is 100%. I learned that in Grant's tutoring because the whole 2 months of taking stats was a waste of my time. But anyways, I do think O'Shea is a man of his word. And when he says something, he's confident. I know that's based on facts and not feelings. And based on his comments in the coaches show and the Grey Cup, it does feel like Kyle Walters is coming back, but there's always that chance.
Yeah.
And even McManus and Govea are up in the air with their contracts. So lots of stuff is kind of held up based on this Buck Pierce signing or not signing. But yeah, I think he will be back. I don't see why not, unless there's some kind of crazy offer elsewhere, which there really isn't room. Where?
Yeah, unless he's going back to university somewhere or something in the States, like there's probably not going to be a better offer in the CFL anywhere. Plus, there's no jobs opening anyways at this point to the GM job. So yeah, unless there's, like you say, unless there's an issue between Miller and Walters, I think it's just kind of getting all the ducks in a row and figuring everything out and where they can pay other guys and all that stuff before they get this figured out and finalized.
Yeah, and of course, a big factor in this is the salary cap for management, the football ops cap. O'Shea commented on the football ops management cap. He obviously is not very happy about it. The organization's not happy about it. Right now, it seems like teams that are successful are punished the most with this football ops cap in regards to keeping coaching staffs together. I do agree. It does suck. It prevents you from retaining the staff. It prevents you from mentoring and developing coaches. And then that in turn affects the product on the field. With that said, the league is still in COVID recovery mode, and the majority of teams are not making money. And the largest expenditure on CFL teams over the past decade have been coaches' salaries because staffs, like logistically, they doubled pretty much in the past decade. So you have to keep the coaches' salaries in check. because that's the one that's rising the most in these costs. And when you're in a league that's financially in trouble time and time again, for whatever reason, you have to look at the biggest cost and what you can hold down. And the coach's salary cap is what it is right now. So I think, yes, you do have to keep it. Unfortunately, I hate it, but you do have to keep it.
Yeah, I think it's the last one I saw. It's at 2.5 million is the cap, and that allows 11 coaches total, and then 25 total in your football operations. So that includes video people, scouts, and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's not a lot of to go around. Like 25 and 2.5 million, that's not a lot there, right? And your coaches are generally going to get paid way more than the assistants, the OCs, and all that kind of stuff. So tough situation for the Bombers, especially like when you're winning. Yeah, everyone deserves a raise, right? The players want that raise. The coaches are like, hey, we are working here too, and we've won for the last 4 seasons. We also want a raise, and you can't blame these guys. But I do agree in the sense that they got to keep the costs somehow under control. If maybe the CFL can find a way to raise this a little bit here and there to help with these situations without, going crazy, then that could be another option to look at that as well. But
yeah.
But like you say, these guys aren't going to stay around. These coaches, if they get a better offer in the States, better money, they're going to leave, right? They could end up leaving somewhere, even in the CFL, same position, if you're out of contract, in same position, but you get paid a little bit more because they have some more money in their cap. But this is also hurting the bad teams because they're keeping coaches, when they don't really, or when they really shouldn't. Dickinson for the last year, Craig Dickinson. So it's not helping on either side of the ball right now, besides maybe keeping the costs down. But it really hamstrings a lot of teams as well.
They have to go through it with a fine, what do you call it?
Fine tooth comb?
What is it?
Fine tooth comb?
Yeah. It's like those guys in Spaceballs. We ain't found shit. But at the same time, it's like you got to find little details that you can throw into there, like have a Canadian coach exception.
Yeah.
If you're having young Canadian coaches, take that off the cap. So there's a little bit of flexibility. They can still have a staff, and they can still mentor these young Canadian coaches to come up, because it's great to see guys like Corey Mace get an opportunity to be a head coach. That guy was a favorite candidate of mine a long time ago. But yeah, be creative with it. Don't make it flat and simple and you're screwed with this amount, because it does handcuff, especially the good teams.
Well, yeah, then you have to make a decision. Like there's obviously some good play in the CFL, but there's a lot of bad play as well. And that depends on coaches as well. Now, instead of getting an experienced guy because you don't have enough money, you're bringing in a first-year guy who hasn't had time to learn from anyone, the CFL game or anything like that. And it takes him time to get going. But that means his position that he's coaching or anything is not going to be good until he gets going. So it doesn't help the league in that sense, where it kind of keeps the league down and not have the best kind of play that it should. So something to look at. But it sounds like listening to O'Shea, it's like a non-starter. The league is like, hey, no, we're not touching this. We're not doing anything with it, and that's it. So ridiculous. That kind of frustrates me the most. Is like, guys, take a look at this. This will help the league. I know you don't want people to overspend and go crazy, and some of the richer teams go nuts or whatever, but something's got to be done to adjust it even a little bit.
Or maybe like coaches, when they're within their first 3 years, their salaries don't count against the cap.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. I like it. I didn't
hear that from no one. That's my straight up idea.
Ray for commish.
Hey, I got the resume. No,
you got my vote.
Thank you again, brother Bernardo. Let's move on. I got all passionate. I don't even know where we are in the program. Any more thoughts about O'Shea's comments on his staff and the football ops management cap?
No, but I sense his anger and I agree with his anger, but at the same time, you got to look at it from the league's point of view as well.
Yeah, people might say, oh, COVID still. Yeah, COVID recovery still. Financially, individuals and small businesses are hurting. So imagine a tough go, financially failing a bit league. What's failing? Because most of the teams aren't profitable.
No, and what's a salary cap for the players? Just over 5 million, right? Or something? Yeah. So I mean, unless the CFL can snag a pretty good TV deal, either again re-upping with TSN or something else comes in to bump up that the finances of the league, you're kind of stuck where you are right now, because a lot of teams. Yes, the Bombers had good attendance, but Calgary did not. So it's like one was good, one was bad. It's not like all 9 were doing very well in the stadiums either to boost those revenues. So yeah,
not until 2026 for a new contract, and they better find a way to make that good. Yes. You know what I mean? Either offer Sportsnet a good deal to share it with TSN, or make TSN pay out of their ass. because you know what? I think the CFL is heating up, and they will, especially if they market to the States.
Yeah, and they've done a lot of that, and I hear good things from people actually watching in the States. So
More of it though.
yeah,
More.
yeah.
Free agency coming up February 14th. Not coming up.
Somewhere
Jeez,
around there,
a
yeah.
long time ago.
3 months.
Seems very close, but because people are talking about it so much, which non-Blue Bomber free agents would be top 3 on your list? Go with one. Who do you got number 1 on your list?
All right, you know what? I'm probably going to go with Matthew Betts right now. This is assuming that, that some of the they don't sign some of their regular guys back or something like that. And these are the guys I would like to see fill in those positions if they did not. If they didn't bring back Jeff Code or Jefferson for some reason, Betts would be at the top of my list to bring that guy in and kind of solidify the D line. He's obviously going to get paid pretty good in this free agency, but yeah, if he's out there and Bombers need help on that D line, Betts.
I was thinking Betts too, but I was really turned off by his last few weeks in performance, especially against the run game. It's like he's almost invisible when a team can establish the run game. So I don't know if I invest. You said it. He's going to make a lot of money, and I agree with you. He's going to take a lot of money from somebody, but I don't know if he's worth the big money. Like he'll get you 18. Maybe that was his good year. He had a couple big spurt games, but he was also blanked.
Yeah, he was invisible for quite a few games,
and he's not a huge pass blocker, and he's not very good against the run. So I don't know.
Fine, we don't. I
didn't put him in my top 3. I know he's good. I know he's good, and he's Canadian, but he was too invisible sometimes for me. I think I'll go for Darius Sirocco in Toronto. He's a center there, a CFL All-Star, great Canadian talent in the middle. He played line across the way with the Dinos. He played guard, tackle, and center. So fundamentally wise, when you think about the dude's fundamentals,
fundamentals, yes, not fundamentals.
These are fundamentals. Put the fun in fundamentals. He's got them. So I think he'd be a great pickup, especially for the Bombers. They might lose some linemen. So he's a top Canadian lineman. So I put him number 1 on my list.
Yeah, actually, I was looking at him as well, and I thought, okay, if you can get Kolinkowski back, you're kind of set there. You probably, give him a little bit of a bump up. So for me on the O-line, if again they're losing guys, they're losing guards, maybe Brandon Revenberg would be a good one to bring in. He's been in Hamilton for a long time, so maybe he's just going to stay there. But again, he would fill in one of those guard positions if they need a veteran presence. If for some reason Neufeld says I'm done, right, or Gray, looks at somewhere else. It'd be a good option to kind of fill in that O-line because he's got the experience and he's still playing at a high level.
Yeah, he's pretty good. At 30, he's good.
Yeah.
I can think Mike Rose on the defensive tackle on the O-line, an American on the D-line. They need to get stronger, I think, on the D-line in the middle. He's a plug. He's a beast. 3-time consecutive CFL All-Star. Him, a combination with the Jeffs would be mental. QBs they'd be scared. They'd be scared of the defensive tackle who put up 10 sacks and the 2 Jeffs on the edges. You could almost play a 3-person front with those guys.
Yeah.
And hide the blitz with Brian Cole. I hope they sign him. Who else you got on your list?
Yeah, that's the one thing for me. If you can bring it back to both the Jeffs, you need to find a good DT or a good interior D lineman to cause havoc as well. And Jake Thomas and Walker and Lawson didn't really do enough of that this year. So I'd like to see somebody there too, like you're saying. I'm going to go to the linebacker core. I'm going to go with Tyrese Beverette, maybe on the outside, depending on what happens with Kyrie Wilson this season and all that stuff. But he had a great season, a strong finish to the season. He was a big hog in that Montreal defense that played so well down the stretch. So I would take a look at him.
Man, he was a beneficiary big time of Sankey coming in. That
opened things up for him, man. Yeah.
Sankey's so good. What a pickup. Cleo Lemon's also a free agent.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I look at those guys and they're just always in the right spot. Like they just play well. Like even Calgary getting rid of Lemon last year. Like, I mean, there's a part of the reason why you guys were bad. You're getting rid of guys like that who just had an awesome season and won defensive player of the year. Like what the heck are you doing? Yeah.
It's weird. Like some players do not translate. Like we saw Tyrone Jones go to another team. He didn't play as well. There's players like that where they're just, he was also old in his career. That was a bad.
But Sean Lemon's there too, right? The guy. I mean, Sankey's been around too, and these guys are just bringing it.
That's
every
true.
year, man. So
Tyrone Jones is my favorite player. I apologize. I shouldn't have thrown that name out there. I'm just thinking of great players who weren't as good on, and automatically he's my favorite great player. So respect. But the last guy on my list is Stavros Katsantonis from Hamilton. I fell in love with that guy when I saw him play the Bombers. I should have knew about him before that, but when we watched him play and he was there pretty much every play where the ball was, he was all over the field. He's a great blitzer, a great tackler and run support. He's like Scott Flagel, Glenn Suter, Rob Hitchcock from Hamilton, all those dudes. He's a great Canadian safety, so I'd sign him quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon Alexander.
As much as I see a lot of these Bombers coming back, there's got to be new guys coming in. There's after a certain amount of time listening to the same coaches say the same thing, and you kind of start to tune it out. And same with the player, the coaches to the players. It's like you're trying to teach a guy, and you're like, oh, he's not, he thinks he knows it all at this point because I've already said this stuff to him, right? So
yeah,
at some point you got to rotate that roster and keep it fresh. So I expect a bunch of changes. I do expect stuff to stay the same for the Bombers, but yeah, they're gonna have to dip their toes a bit in this all. But it's gonna be harder. Because yes, these guys want to possibly go like the guys outside the Bombers. Yes, you go to a winning situation, but you're not necessarily going to take less money to go to a new situation, right? That's why it's easier for the Bombers to kind of convince their own guys, hey, take $10,000 less because we got a great chance to win. So maybe some of these guys will see it, but a lot of these guys will be going for the money.
Man, I just had a great scenario in my head, and it might work and it might not work. If they got Katsantonis as safety, I would actually like to see what Brendan Alexander can do as one of their cover linebackers.
Yeah,
he's a tackler.
Oh, he is.
He can step up and hit. Remember Lamar Griggs? He was able to step up. Kyrie's Hebert, he's able to do the safety to linebacker thing. So maybe.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm a great fantasy football CFL manager. That wouldn't work with the cap though, but I'm just saying.
What do you want to be, the GM or the commish? You can only have one.
I'll tell you next week. Bomber fans, we got 3, right? 3 and 3.
Yeah.
I'm so confused tonight. I'm just so excited and goodness gracious. Put your thoughts below, Bomber fans. Top 3 free agents from other teams you wouldn't mind seeing in the blue and gold. Let's talk about the Edmonton Elks. Their president suggested a new stadium might be beneficial that they could share with the CPL team. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, man, if it makes sense, let's go for it. I'd like to see all new stadiums around the league if it eventually can happen in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Or if they can get started, really, because it's going to take a few years, obviously, to build. But I mean, if you can get a stadium just like the Bombers are doing, sharing it with Valor, and they can do it with the CPL as well in Edmonton. That stadium, as from what it is, it's older. It was built in '78. It's huge. It's going to cost you a lot of money to run that stadium for all those seats when half of them aren't even being used, right? So if you can bring a more modern, state-of-the-art stadium into the picture that doesn't end up costing a lot or anything like that, I know it's going to cost a lot, but keep that price within range. I'm all for it because it's better for the league. Right. And it's better for the future of the league as well.
Yeah. Calgary just got a whole bunch of money for a new arena. So Edmonton's up.
But Calgary's not getting a stadium, though. They're getting a hockey arena. They need a stadium as well.
How much do they get for the hockey arena from Alberta? 300 million?
I don't know. The whole thing costs
that is not enough to help for Elks to get a stadium?
Yeah. I mean, if you get that for that. I mean, Calgary needs it. Yeah. Well, Calgary needs more money too, right? I mean, but Edmonton just did their arena not that long ago too.
But they barely got any provincial support with that arena. That was almost all on their owner to put that one up. It was crazy. They had to fight and nail for any kind of provincial. And then Calgary seemed to get it no problem. But any which way, that's an Edmonton issue. I'll let them debate that. But I totally think they should get a new arena, a stadium. And it's not just about getting something new and whatever and the shiny and the bringing new fans in. It's about environment. This is the way of the CFL game. Smaller stadiums, better environment, more compact. Like you look at when I went to a game in Toronto in Skydome, that was horrible. Empty seats. The noise was cavernous. People were separated by so many seats. How does that benefit the game? And not just on TV, but you there as a fan. It's like, oh, this is boring. I can't hear anyone. There's no people around me getting excited. So they definitely need a new stadium. It's too big for what they need. I could care less if it's a CPL team or not. The Edmonton Elks need a new stadium moving forward. And if I was a private owner, that had to be an option. 35,000 seat stadium at least.
Yeah, I mean, between 30 and 35. I mean, what did Saskatchewan's end up being here?
32 something?
33, 350 basically, expandable up to 40. So if they had to, and the cost on that was 278. Yes, it's been a few years since that, 278 million. So yes, it's been a few years. So obviously it's going to cost a little bit more, but you know, it doesn't seem too bad in retrospect for me. If you can do it, because like you say, having guys sit here and then another guy sit way over here and all that stuff, it does not help the noise. It does not help the atmosphere or the team on the field. I mean, you can see how loud, you know, IGF gets, right? And even in Saskatchewan there, it gets loud because the stadium is more compact and it keeps that noise in. So be perfect. If they can get it done, hey man, that'd be fantastic. Because then you're looking at it in pretty much the whole league. You know, Edmonton and Calgary are sitting in new stadiums. BC just retrofitted theirs. BC Place. I don't know if it's BC Place still anymore. Does it have a name?
Something.
Probably.
Maybe Rogers again owns that one. I don't know.
Yeah, so you'd have the league in pretty good footing in terms of stadium wise.
So and why is it still called Commonwealth? And is it the brick field? Like, come on, get a name and get some money for that thing. What are you waiting for? Commonwealth.
Is it seriously just called Commonwealth?
Are they still drinking tea to the Queen with this Commonwealth? Come on, get rid of that name.
They did not sign a stadium deal at all.
Wasn't the brick field for a while at Commonwealth Stadium?
Could have been.
Any which way. Edmonton, we hope y'all get a new one. We will be getting a new one. Let's move on to some CFL awards. You know, it was a great touch to have the MOP name the George Reed Trophy. Who would you name each trophy after going forward? And I'm just hoping I have all the other awards here because I might be missing one. But let's start off with Canadian. Who do you got for MOC? Who'd you name that after?
I would name it something after Normie Kwong. One of the early winners of this award, won it a couple of times. Great career, obviously, in the CFL. So he'd be at the top of my list for naming that.
That's a good one. Good Calgary running backs. And we just had discussions online with this crazy top 15 running backs on the list by American Football International. Andrew Harris is not on it. Any which way. My MLC candidate, I'd name it the Russ Jackson Award. 12-year career, voted number 8 in the top 50 CFL, top-ranked Canadian, CFL Hall of Famer, Canadian Sports Hall of Famer, most touchdown passes in the Grey Cup with 8, most touchdown passes in the Grey Cup game with 4, highest passer rating in the Grey Cup with 118.4. He's the Canadian trophy. 3 times MOP.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad one either.
4 times MOC. Shoot. Lineman. Who are you going to name that one after?
We're probably on the same page on this one. I'm going to go with Chris Walby. That's, you know, obviously great career, won the award a couple times too. You know, was an anchor on that Bomber O-line for so long, played at a high level for so long, won a bunch of Grey Cups or a few Grey Cups. So a couple of Grey Cups, actually. Sorry. No, 3, right?
3, but so, he didn't play in 88.
Right. So yeah, great career. So I'd name it after him.
Yeah, but it's not Chris Walby. And if Stanley Bryant does retire, I hope not, he won it 4 times.
Yeah.
Not in a row. 2, and then someone won it. Van Zyl, Chris Van Zyl won it.
Yeah.
And then he won 2 again. So one of those Bombers I'd take for offensive lineman. Defense. I'm gonna go with Willie Pless. We talked about him on an episode a while ago. Dude won it 5 times, 4 times in a row. That's crazy. Yeah. So I'm going to call it the Willie Pless Award.
Yeah, I'm going to agree there. I put 2 guys just in case you picked Willie Pless, but I still can't pick against Willie Pless. I put Joe Monfort on there as well, but I still think I'd stick with Willie Pless.
Joe Monfort. He's a good one.
Oh, he was a beast. Destroyed the Bombers all the time.
Yeah, I know. Special Teams Award. I'm very interested to see who you picked. Who'd you pick for the Special Teams Award?
I got to go with the Gizmo. You know, just a great career in terms of returning the ball, punt returns, kick returns, always electric on the field, could score at any moment. And again, did some damage to the Bombers too. So I got to go with him.
He damaged everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
He has more probably kick and punt return touchdowns called back for holding than most guys have in their career. Crazy. He was so good. But I had to go with the guy who has the most points in professional football history with 3,991, Louis Pasaglia. Most converts, most single points, and he punted. 2nd all-time in punts and punts yardage behind the GOAT, Bob Cameron.
Yeah, crazy. That's true.
So, and he won the game-winning points in his last game ever in a Grey Cup. Get out of here.
And he's Italian too, so that's good.
Crazy. These last two awards, I'm going to go with the Paisano for sure. So, and 40 for 44 in his last year. His last year playing, he went crazy. So Louis Pasaglia definitely gets my special teamer award. I'm pretty sure you got the same coach of the year. Who do you got for coach of the year?
Yeah, we're sticking with Italians. I got Wally Buono. Obviously, most wins in CFL history. Great career, longevity of it all. Did it well in Calgary and then did it very well again in BC in two different spots. And he's been around in the league for a long time. I know he still consults probably here and there. Teams ask him still his advice. So yeah, he's my choice here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Most Grey Cup wins with 5. And not only just a great CFL story, he also played with the Alouettes, I think his hometown team.
Right. Yeah.
A great Canadian immigrant story. And you know how I've really been pounding the stone about the new Canadian population not being mined enough by the CFL. Like, this is a great example. You have a guy born in Italia, moving to Canada as a child, falling in love with football, and becoming one of the greatest leaders and coaches in the game's history. I think he's still actually VP of football operations with the BC Lions.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Maybe he is actually just a consultant. Sorry. I might be wrong on that. But yeah, see, undoubtedly, Wally Buono gets a Coach of the Year award. CFL fans, put your comments in the comments section about some of the awards names. If you have any other ones, like there's so many other players who can be named. So keep the conversation going.
Did you know his first name is actually Pasquale?
I did.
I did. I may have known that, but I did not remember it. So that's great.
I didn't want to say it. Though.
Wally's not very Italian, I guess.
No, but Pasquale is.
Yes, Pasquale is.
We went to school with a guy named Pasquale.
There you go.
That was awesome. Dude, it's like you can't be more Italian than that. He's a great guy. So are you, and you're Italian. That's why.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
And for other reason. Let's move on. Touchdown Atlantic. Is it time to move that game around? And what other markets would you like to see the CFL explore?
Yeah, I think it's time, especially if you're not going to be able to capitalize on getting that expansion franchise in the Atlantic somewhere. I'd like to see maybe Quebec, just to kind of get an idea, Quebec City, obviously, just to get an idea of maybe what kind of fan support you could get and what kind of fever they kind of bring to the game to see if that's another option for expansion at some point. Because at some point, you got to cut the bait on Atlantic Canada. If it's going to happen, let's get it done. If it's not, let's move on and see where else we can go.
Yeah, you want to cut the bait, but they keep getting nibbles, bro.
I know, but
it's a prospective group. You get nibbles,
dude. We're going to be here in 10 years doing this, and we're going to be still talking about Atlantic Canada being an expansion franchise.
We're already 20 years deep into this conversation. No, the 80s. Yes. Oh, I'm so old, eh? I think the 80s were 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's not yesterday anymore.
Get out of here. I think there's a few great cities. Like, I'd love to see them go to Surrey, BC. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan would be great because, fans would show up. I don't know if they'll get a full-time team there because they might draw from the Roughriders, but who knows? It might be worth it. Quebec City, like you said, and Moorhead, Minnesota. That's less than a 10-minute drive from Fargo. So why not see what you can do? It might be a smaller field, but try the soccer field they play in and just display the game. Maybe some American affiliates might be willing to cover it a little more. You'll get it on the news there. It's something.
Yeah, maybe even have a couple of these games a year, just like the NFL's going to Europe and all that kind of stuff. Now, maybe you're touching the states, but more the northern states, right? And seeing, hey, do they have any appetite for CFL football and stuff like that? Yeah, it's a great idea.
Idaho and Wyoming. See, man, I'm putting chips in my commissionership right now.
So you're back to the commissioner chair.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever job comes, I'll take it. Let's move on to some Jets. Yes.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets Talk, brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out in the ice, pavement, or the field with a custom airbrushed helmet or goalie mask. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. Thank you, Fahrenheit Airbrushing, for your support. The Jets. let's move through this quickly because last week is last week and this week is coming up tomorrow. They had that Florida trip and then they went to Nashville. What are your thoughts? What did you like? What didn't you like? Who's the star of the week for you?
Yeah, good week for them. I mean, those are two tough games going into Florida, playing Tampa and the Florida Panthers. They came away with victories, 3-2 in Tampa Bay in overtime, and then 3-0 over Florida. So very good games there. I like the fact that they came out strong against Tampa Bay. I know Hellebuck kind of kept them in that game early, but the Jets built a 2-0 lead. The unfortunate thing, the only thing I didn't like is you kind of gave up that 2-0 lead. And I know it's Tampa, and they're going to come at you strong, but they had tied it by the 6-minute mark of the second period and kind of took over that game. The great part of that game is the Jets shut it down after that. And Tampa Bay only ended up getting 8 shots, I think, around 8 shots total the rest of the game and into overtime. So big Jets victory there and a great, 939 save percentage for Helly. Florida again.
Hold on, don't go past Tampa Bay. I don't want to talk about Tampa Bay before you go on to Florida. These are 3 games. Hold on now, a second. Tampa Bay, they got a sold out crowd. Good for them. Winnipeg, y'all gonna learn. We got to show up to support the team. This is Tampa Bay, a market that we made fun of in the Sun Belt. If they are selling out games this early in the season with their record, which is still a playoff record, we got to start doing it in Winnipeg, including me. I haven't been to a game yet, but I've been busy with my job, so I have an excuse. Like you, I like the 2-0 lead. I don't like the 2-0 comeback. A power play goal allowed. Well, okay. On the first goal, I really like the pressure in the Tampa Bay zone. I like the patience that Ehlers had, and I just like the way they moved the puck in the offensive zone and opened Morrissey up in the faceoff circle, which was beautiful. And they're just one of those teams that depends on strong, fundamental plays that get people open in the offensive zone. So against Tampa Bay, I think they really showed that. Johnson was solid and actually kept them in the game.
Yeah.
But like you said, Helly, 939 save percentage. And he was on a roll before this. He was on 912 trying to get out of that 800 high 800 save percentage that you were talking about before he got onto that streak. So, man, that was a good game and a good character game for the Jets.
Yeah, and a big way to shut it down defensively too, because Tampa was taking it to that in parts of the first and early in that second, and then the Jets shut it down, and only 4 turnovers given up by the Jets in this game too. And we've seen this Jets team in the past give up tons of turnovers throughout the game. So yeah, they held strong, and and Helly and that defensive play gave them a chance to win this game, and they took it in overtime.
Yeah, I think what we learned, and we're going to talk about Florida in a second, is a difference in between good Jets defense and bad Jets defense is if they're on their heels or if they're attacking, if they're being that annoying fly in people's ear in their zone, which they did very well in Florida. I think they're a much better team, but they didn't do too well in Tampa Bay. Speaking of Florida, what are your thoughts on them?
Again, Helly, big game, solid. Like everyone says, he was big and boring. I know some people hate that for some reason. Bobrovsky also played well, though. It was a good goaltender duel, and it took almost, you can call it a garbage goal by Niederreiter. The first one, it was just driving to the net, finding the puck in the crease and tipping it in. And then the goaltenders kind of took over until Ehlers made that fantastic move around the Florida D and went high on Bobrovsky to make it 2-0. And at that point, the Jets kind of took the game away. Florida had 33 shots in this game. But if you're looking at the stats, the shots, they were all from the outside. They were all from almost the blue line. There was nothing really from in front of the net. And that was crazy to me because the Jets gave up tons. But when you're watching the outside, you're like, oh, this is kind of a Paul Maurice team. Just throw the puck at the net and kind of see what happens and hope for the best in front of it. So, again, only 5 turnovers in this game. Solid defensive performance as well, on top of Helly playing well. And the Jets, they kind of grittied it out. Florida's a big team, right? The Dylan fight against Sam Reinhart, he pummeled his face.
What did you expect in that one?
He got him quick, though.
Sam Reinhart did not watch the film on that one.
He got him so quick. I think that's probably what Reinhart was talking about after. He's like, dude, give me a chance. He was punching his face before Reinhart even knew what was going on.
Well, pay attention. Hey, they're undefeated against Pomo.
Yeah.
4-0, I believe. 4-0. And you talk about this feistiness. I like what Bonus said, and they're willing to get into it and stick up for each other. That shows me a little bit more than analytics. And again, I am not slamming analytics. Bro, you brought up these analytical stats and they benefit the game. I just don't understand them. I'm not a smart dude. I watch the game and I just say what I see. I can't do the analytics because I get confused when I see numbers on paper. But when
it goes back to your stats.
Exactly. Exactly. I need Grant's tutoring for that nonsense. Hey, does anyone know Grant's tutoring on NHL analytics? I'll take it. But any which way, I love to see that kind of feistiness, and just shows me that that's a kind of team that can survive throughout the year. It's not a flash in the pan. Yeah, for sure. They'll lose. They'll have their losing streaks like any good team does. But I think they have the grittiness and the chemistry and the togetherness, what a horrible word that is, that they got each other's backs, and that'll get you far in the NHL.
Yep. Yeah, they've done that well so far this season.
And I really like the play of Niederreiter. Man, the first few games, the way that guy uses his size and his speed, the Adam Lowry goal against Florida, the first one, like, oh my goodness, he's so good in the face-off. The way he just takes the puck, he pushes his guy out of the way, he gets in front of that to get him out of the way, and then Niederreiter plants his ass, and he gets the goal on the rebound. That's the kind of shit. Oh, sorry, I'm swearing because I'm excited. Yeah. That's the stuff we love to see.
Yeah, he's such a big dude. It's hard to move him off that puck, man. Yeah, when he starts to stick his back out and his butt out, it's like, oh shit, he's engaged.
Exactly. And in this game, again, the defense showed how if they're annoying and really in the opposition's face in their own zone, and they get into their positions before the offensive players can get into their positions, how defensively good they are, because they can't push people out of the way.
No,
size is not their forte, and they're not going to get a whole bunch of size by playoff time. But what they can do is play smart defense and get positionally, get in the right place positionally to be good. Horrible grammar again. What else you got?
Yeah, that's basically it. Like you say, it's a big team. Florida's a big team. The D is smaller, like we talked about. So in this one game, yes, they could handle it. They played well. Who knows in a 7-game series what would happen if they get worn down at some point? But yeah, great game defensively all around.
Not bad that Helly got the shutout.
Yes, as well. Yeah, first of the year. So.
How about Nashville? What do you got to say about that Nashville?
Unfortunately, it's like I get it. You're on a 5-game winning streak total here, right? You're 2 games on the road. You're kind of flying high. Now you're playing a team who's worse in the standings than the ones you just played. So you kind of get that letdown moment. Jets started off well. Broissoit made some early good saves in this game. Jets kind of took over, but then Nashville came back late in that first and ended up getting the first goal of the game. Which was, Broissoit a bit out of position on the first shot and leaving that huge rebound to an empty net. So again, it was tough. And then the second goal was even worse on Broissoit's part. So you're already down 2-0 early in the second, down 3-0. Hard to come back from that. They almost did. But I think Broissoit's got to be a little bit better on some of these shots. I know he made some good saves, but the ones he ends up letting in afterwards are like, ooh, you should have had those.
He does. I don't blame him on that power play goal, though. It was weird. They had
that
like
the third one or the?
I think that was the second one, wasn't it?
Where they stepped in and just threw it at the net.
They had Lowry, Appleton, and Morrissey all in a line at one point in that power play, and they just pass around that. And you shouldn't really be able to pass the puck through the penalty kill and across the ice.
That was the third one. Yes, I don't blame him for that one.
That was the third one. Sorry about that. Yeah, that one was like, oh boy, you had no chance on that.
No, I don't blame him.
The first one was ugly.
Yeah. First one, bad position. The second one is like, I don't know if you were asleep or just, again, bad positioning. I don't know what. My kid plays goalie and I don't understand sometimes, but I'm thinking, okay, I could have stopped that, but chances are I probably wouldn't have stopped it anyways. But
yeah,
when you're out, and then Saros played well, on the other side.
Oh my gosh,
it's like, it's hard when you get shaky goaltending on one end and then Saros plays lights out on the other end.
And that third line, again, every game, the third line for the Jets is a factor. They give everybody trouble. You don't know how to put that who to put that line with the other team. You don't know who to match up.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. And Perfetti had a beautiful power play goal on that one. Set up. He's playing defense on that power play, and he was just open. He put it over the dude's shoulder. Yuck.
Yeah, good to see them fight back and get close. Unfortunately, they couldn't get that tying one, but good fight back at least, but a little bit too late.
Yeah, couldn't quite finish. Star of the week for that week. We might have the same dude. I'll go with Connor Hellebuck. 31 for 32. And then 28 for 28, going 59 of 60 in his 2 games in Florida. The Jets will be pretty unstoppable if that continues.
Yeah, if they continue to play well defensively and he finds his form and, is not facing those high danger opportunities, like in Florida, it's 33 shots, but a lot of them weren't high danger and in the slot area. So if you give Hellebuck outside shots, chances are he's not letting any of those in. So I'm going to pick Connor Hellebuck again as well. Gave the Jets an opportunity in these games to win, and the offense did enough to win them.
Let's go with the upcoming games. They got Dallas on Tuesday, Edmonton on Thursday. What do the Jets need to do to win? Let's start with the Stars.
Again, big game coming up here. Dallas obviously won the first game of the season between these two. Dallas started off hot, but they are actually only 5-4-1 in their last 10, coming off a 7-4 loss to Calgary on Friday, I think, where they gave up 5 straight to lose 7-4. So, but very good power play, very good penalty kill. This team can score. So the Jets have to be aware, and they're gonna be tough offensively as well. So it's gonna need to be a big defensive game again for the Jets. And finish again. Both teams can score. The Jets can score as well here, obviously. So it'll be a tough battle, though it's always a tough battle against Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is going to be refocused after that Flames game. Putting 7 on them. Oh, my goodness. So the Jets defensively have to be awares. You know, they cannot be, like I noted earlier, they cannot be playing on their heels, seeing what's happening and being reactive. They just have to be pressuring the puck and hoping, no, not hoping, making Dallas turn the puck over and taking advantage of that. And the Flames also scored up and down the line. Like their goal scoring wasn't just on one line. And the Jets, as we know, are very good at 5-on-5, one of the best in the league. So if they can stay out of the penalty box, much like they will have the next game that we talk about, and if they can go 5-on-5 situations with Dallas, I think they're very good, in a very good position to win the game at home. Second game, Edmonton. Everybody is wondering if Edmonton on the way back, have they turned the corner? Did they make the right moves? Bro, they beat the Caps and the Ducks. Impressively, though.
5-0, 8-2, right? Good game.
What are your thoughts on them and the Jets?
Again, it's always tough matchups with Edmonton, and nothing's ever easy, even if the Oilers are playing bad. But obviously, Edmonton can score, just like Dallas can. Edmonton's got a lot of firepower, and their power play is still deadly, 25%, over 25%. So if you take a lot of penalties in this game and give them opportunities on the power play, they're gonna cash in. It's hard not to with Draisaitl, McDavid, and all that. So their penalty kill is not as good. So if the Jets can take advantage there on the power play, Edmonton's also only 3-8 on the road so far this season. They've turned it around a little bit. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, so they are playing a bit better hockey. Skinner seems to be better, but they're still iffy here and there, even though the last 2 games are good. They play Vegas, I think, tomorrow before the game on Thursday, so we'll see what they can do there. But it'll be a tough matchup here again. And again, a lot of firepower, need a good defensive game.
Yeah, I said my piece already pretty much. Just stay out of the box. Yeah. Winnipeg is 73%, 5th worst in the league. Man, those 2 games that they won, Edmonton, 50% in the power play. They can't mess around with that power play. It's too good. If they get more power play advantage than the Jets, they win, without a doubt.
Well, Edmonton's still bad defensively. Their goaltending is still shaky, right? So, yes, if you can play them 5-on-5, your chances are pretty good of winning that game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Should the Jets be concerned about Laurent Broissoit?
Yes. Yes. We were complaining about Dave Rittich last year and how bad he was in certain games. And in his only 11 games that he played, his save percentage and his goals against are actually better than what Broissoit's are right now, which is .297 and .877 save percentage. That's not good, especially when you're paying a guy 1.7. I know it's a new team. Maybe it takes some time to get used to. But even if you look at Broissoit's numbers from last year, they weren't great. They were better. But he only played, I messed up there. He only played 11 games last year because of injuries. So he had 2.17 save percent or goals against and 297. Sorry, other way around. Oh, I'm messing this up. I wrote down the wrong numbers. Either way, he was better in those 11 games. But in the playoffs, he wasn't very good. And I know part of that was playing the Oilers in the second round. But yeah, we need better play at him. We can't have Hellebuck play 60-plus games here again. Because we see what happens in the playoffs. He's not the same Helly, and everyone's, he's crap in the playoffs. Well, yeah, because he played way more than he should. And we need Broissoit, who comes in a game against Nashville, to play better. Otherwise, you're not going to trust him against better teams, and it's always going to be a Hellebuck. So, yes, I would be concerned right now, and hopefully he can turn it around.
Yeah. I'd expect your number 1 goalie to be playing against better teams any which way.
You do, but you want to.
I think if Broissoit play, like he does have to get better.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that much far off though. Like If he gives Hellebuck these rests, but Hellebuck is able to play at a pace where he goes 5-1 in his stretches, and the Jets can still be competitive and play like they did with Broissoit, playing probably at his worst, I think I'm not going to panic. Like I said, he definitely should get better, and they definitely shouldn't be shopping until like All-Star break. Like people be like, should they start trading? It's like, no, just hold on. He's a veteran. He's not, he's got his injury, like you said, concerns. He didn't finish off the season 100% healthy. He's rehabbing into this season. So I'm not too concerned. It's like I used last week, an eye opener, but I think he's okay. I think he's okay. The Jets didn't get their ass whooped, but they definitely lost because of him, I think.
Well, yeah, the first and second goal are kind of iffy. And like I said, he made some good saves. He made some good saves in that game early
Yeah.
too. But when you let those in, it's kind of deflating, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll give him time. I'll give him 2
We're
more games. No,
gonna
just kidding.
look at the Scott Billick article. And Winnipeg Sun talked about this edition of the Winnipeg Jets being possibly the best edition of the Winnipeg Jets if you take out the 2017-18 edition of the Jets. I think the 18-19 team is better until they can prove otherwise. The 18-19 team, mainly the reason I believe this is because their power play was 7th in the league and their penalty kill was middle of the road, which is still degrees or whatever levels, floors better than what they have right now. Their fourth line, which was Lowry, Kopp, and Tanev, could probably go toe-to-toe with the third line that they have right now. Vesalainen and Roslovich Perot might be a bit of a concern, but then when it comes down to it, it's about that defense. Morrissey, Trouba, Sherratt, Bufflin, Kulikov, Myers. Too big, too fast for this Jets team to roll with if I'm going like toe to toe. So I'm going to go, no, they're not the best team yet, but I hope they prove me wrong.
I kind of agree with you there because that 2018-19 season started off so well for the Jets. We know what happened there. Christmas hit, January hit, and it went all downhill. And it's like, oh, just wait for playoffs. We're just waiting for playoffs, and then they lose to St. Louis. So, yeah, that team started off strong. We also saw the Jets start off pretty strong last year as well, kind of playing this same kind of game. I know it's gone a little bit better than last year in terms of all the metrics. But like you say, the power play and the penalty killer are still not great this year compared to what it was in 18-19. And the Jets, like I said, started strong last year and tapered off again after Christmas and then had to battle for a playoff spot. So I think it's too early to tell if they are the best iteration of the Jets since they came back. But yeah, I would take a wait and see approach. I hope they are. It'd be fantastic if they are, because then it's a great run. And this will also bring fans back into the barn, right? But up and down the lineup, they got a solid lineup. They got scoring going on. So far, they haven't even had Gabe Vilardi in most of these games, or the majority of these games. So once he comes back, we'll see how he fills in or fits in, and maybe it'll get even better. But long way to go. I would still take that 18-19 team if we're skipping 17-18.
I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's leave it at that. I would like them to be better, but I just can't buy in yet because they play such a style, such an aggressive style when they're good. Can they keep this going at an 82 game pace? We'll see, like after game 70, 75, we'll see if the wheels start falling off. Like it's a very demand, and Ribona said that last year, and we saw the wheels fall off, right?
Yeah.
So I think this year is like, hopefully they're ready for it. I bet you line 3 will be ready to go 82 games plus, but we'll see if the other lines are committed to going that hard, that fast every time.
Well, yeah, can Appleton keep his pace going? Can he continue to score goals throughout the whole season? Not in the first 20 games of the season. All that will be good questions to have and to ask. But yeah, it'll be telling for sure. To me, it's more once you get to Christmas and see where you're at, right? That's more of a good stat for me. I know most people say if you're good at American Thanksgiving and you're in the playoff spot, you're going to end up in a playoff spot. Oh, that's only 20 games in or less, right? So Christmas is a good point for me, or just after that. I wasn't on board last year, and then I bought in, and it kind of fell off the wheels, or the wheels fell off a bit. So, it's good that they're in contention right now and they're battling for first and essential.
This idea of you are what you are within the first 20 games, I don't understand that. Like within the first 20 games of the NHL season, what have you established? What have you gone through? Like the Jets have gone through amazingly, which I didn't mention earlier. The good thing about that Florida game was Rick Bowness coming back. So they've gone through their coach leaving, and they've gone through a Velarde injury.
Yeah, no injuries otherwise, really, right?
So, like, who knows what's going to happen in the next 20 games? Knock on it right here, bruh. It's fine. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Jets fans, put your opinions below. We'd love to hear them. Let's do some NHL talk quickly. Fleury mask, controversy, NHL. Your thoughts on that?
Oh my God, the NHL, I don't know. It makes itself look like a joke in these situations, and I don't know why they have to do it. Props to Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury, for still wearing the mask in warmups. The mask is going off to auction to raise money. I don't know why the NHL has anything against it. And really, it's every mask, every goalie mask has something on there that represents the goalies and what they feel or what they've grown up with or anything like that. Every mask does. So you're going to start limiting what these masks can have on there. Can Hellebuck not have his dog on there anymore? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And this is, again, the NHL kicking themselves in the ass again for no reason. They got to embrace his shit. You're not forcing anyone to do it. He wants to do it. Let him do it.
It's a clown show.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to represent an underrepresented community with a mask in warm up and make money for them. The stupid can you be as an administration to say no and threaten them with a fine? Like, in regards to social awareness, the NHL is dead last.
Terrible.
Dead last.
Yeah.
Idiots. They are run by a bunch of buffoons.
Big time. Yep.
Whew. Trouba Slash.
Speaking of
a league run by buffoons. Like, $5,000 for this? Are you crazy? Like, what is the dude swung his stick at another human being? I don't think he should get more than 2 games, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset if he got more than 2 games, but he should have at least got 2 games. Trouba's been suspended before. It's not like he's an angel on the ice, right?
No.
So, and he's gotten away with some heavy hits and questionable hits where he's not gotten suspended. But this is goofy. I mean, he took a baseball swing to the guy's head. You know, like, again, someone, I don't know where it was, but the comments, it's like, this is no different than McSorley hitting Brashear, really, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I think he should have definitely got suspended, whatever amount of games it is, but $5,000, especially for a guy who's making what, $8-9 million a year. That's a joke. Another joke by the NHL.
Yeah.
2 in 1 week.
I won't go into the McSorley swing, because the difference between that one is, number one, the dude's back was turned to him. And number two, I don't think he was intentionally swinging for his head.
Trouba wasn't?
Huh?
Trouba
was not. What was going on with Trouba? I think he was actually going for a regular, you know how they hack each other on the legs and the wrists, and the guy pushed him and held and pushed. You can see the physics of it. He pushed his elbow down and his stick went up. I do not think Trouba's intention was to go for his head at all. I don't think he's that crazy, but I think he was trying to hack him like they do on the legs and the wrists. And I think that should be outlawed. And I think that's why it should be 2 games. More, I don't think so. I think I know he has a past. I don't think he was hacking for his head on purpose on that one.
Either way, that was a tough swing and a hard swing. So even if he's going for the body, but again, you have to be responsible for your actions, and you have to be responsible for your swing and all that kind of stuff. So
$5,000 is a joke.
That is a joke. We'll agree on that one. That's terrible.
How like every time they discipline someone, it's a joke.
Some guy's gonna do barely nothing and get suspended for 5 games in the next week.
Wasn't someone suspended 41 games for gambling in the team facility?
That's not good. Not good. But hey, use your stick as a weapon.
Yeah, hack away. Hack away. Guy wasn't even gambling on his own team, just using the Wi-Fi in the team facility. Get out of here, NHL. You're so dumb. Benny, you have anything to say to our smart friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and follow, and have a good couple of days.
I mean, it almost made you choke on your drink.
I almost spit that out.
What are you drinking?
That beer almost came out of there. This Sucrum's Eternal Sunshine. Actually, it's pretty good. First time I've had it. So
I'm a fan of Sucrum's. Y'all, we are trying local beers here. I had the Oceans 12. I love that name. Oceans 12. Oceans. I can't see it.
Yeah, the screen is
Fort
just
Garry.
always like
Any which way. If y'all have, look, how do you do that? If y'all have,
just gotta get the right spot.
If y'all have any thoughts on local beers that we can try, send them in. We'll try them all, because that way we do beers and podcasts. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
I already did already. You've had too much beer, I think.
Oh, this is 7.5, by the way, friends. It's 7.5. And in the famous words of Michael Jordan, never say never, because limits, like fears, are often illusions. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.